Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Senator Risa Hontiveros is considering legal action following the recantation of a key witness in the Quiboloy case, who now accuses her of coercion and bribery.
Justice Secretary Boying Remulla is set to file his application for ombudsman this Friday.
Workers in the National Capital Region are set to receive a 50 peso daily wage hike starting this month.
And a bright new chapter begins as the Signal HD Spikers partner with Firefly to power their championship dreams.
First in the news, Justice Secretary Boying Remulla confirms plan to seek the ombudsman post. The details in this report.
Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla has confirmed his intention to apply as the next ombudsman. In an interview, Remulla said he plans to file his application before the Judicial and Barring Council by Friday, July 4. He believes he still has much to offer in public service and wants to contribute by taking on a new role.
Mag-a-apply ako. Mag-a-apply pa lang ako. I'm submitting my application by Friday, before Friday.
Bakit, sir?
Wala. I think that I have a lot to offer there.
Remulla is seeking to succeed Ombudsman Samuel Martires, who will retire on July 27. When asked about the complaint filed against him by Senator Amy Marcos related to the ICC arrest of former President Duterte, Remulla said it's up to the JBC to determine if that will affect his application. He also confirmed that he has informed President Bongbong Marcos of his plan and is ready to recommend possible successors to lead the Department of Justice. Remulla expressed confidence that his programs at the DOJ will continue even if he moves to a new post. The ombudsman is tasked to investigate and file cases against public officials accused of corruption or administrative misconduct with powers including preventive suspension for up to 6 months. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Yan, so we all know naman, pag ombudsman, 7 years. Pag siya ay na-appoint bilang ombudsman, 7 years ang kanyang term, which is what happened with the
Martires.
outgoing ombudsman na Samuel Martires. Siya ay appointee ni President Duterte at that time.
Very similar sa Supreme Court Justice.
Na July 27.
May retirement prescriptive period to. So regardless kung sino yung next president, nandun si Secretary Remulla.
But yun nga, sabi naman nila, kasi ang pagpipili, mamimili sila from the list given by the JBC.
Yes.
Diba? At syempre, yung people are asking baka mayroong conflict of interest doon sa if ever siya yung maging ombudsman, ay merong kasing kasong final si Senator Amy Marcos against him regarding nga doon sa detain kay former President Digo Duterte sa The Hague. So,
hindi naman kasi dadaan naman to sa vetting process.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same like sa Supreme Court, 'di ba? May list, tapos mag-shortlist, tapos sa shortlist mamimili ang
shortlist JBC, manggagaling sa JBC.
tapos mamimili ang presidente, 'di ba?
Yes.
Mamimili ang presidente sa shortlist. So baka similar to dito.
Yeah.
So
when he was asked about it, yung case na yun na final ni Senator Amy, sabi niya, well, yung discretion naman ng ng JBC kung ilalagay siya dun sa mga shortlisted applicants. And kung ma-appoint din siya, 'di ba, mapipili from there. So from then on, we'll see kung ano mangyayari. But ang tanong, kung siya yung magiging ombudsman, sino yung papalit na DOJ? Alright, in other news, Senator Risa Hontiveros is planning legal action after a key witness in the Quiboloy case recanted his testimony and accused her of coercion and bribery. Here's the report.
Senator Risa Hontiveros plans to file cases after former Senate witness Michael Murillo, also known as Rene, recanted his testimony against Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. In a clip posted on Pagtanggol Valiente, Murillo accused Hontiveros of paying and threatening him to testify against Quiboloy, former President Duterte, and Vice President Sara Duterte. Hontiveros denied the claims and showed screenshots of Murillo initially volunteering as a witness and even asking her office for financial help. According to her, Murillo emailed her office in December 2023 expressing his willingness to testify against Quiboloy. She also said Murillo followed up multiple times after his initial message.
Nasaan dyan ang pinilit? Muli, siya ang una at paulit-ulit na lumapit. Sinungaling na nga, nang haharas pa. Michael exposed people who trusted the Senate with their stories. And these are people who were already afraid. Now they are in danger. Again, yan ang talagang kinagagalit ko.
Hontiveros also presented a message from Murillo asking for financial help to buy a laptop. She clarified that her office never gave him money. Just this June, Hontiveros said Murillo told her office he had been kidnapped and was being held in Glory Mountain. Her camp reported the matter to Davao Police. But before action could be taken, Murillo's recantation video went viral. Hontiveros does not yet know who is behind the video, but believes it strengthens the findings of the Senate Committee on Women and Children.
Sinabi for one ni Attorney Torreon na hindi daw sila. So sino hanggang ngayon? Wala pang nagkiklaim ng authorship nitong magaling na video nila ng panay fake news naman. Bakit ayaw nilang aminin o angkinin? Dahil di tulad nga namin na kompleto ang mga resibo, lalo lang lumalakas yung findings at recommendations ng aming investigasyon laban kay Apollo Quiboloy at sa KOJC. At muli, hindi lamang si Michael ang testigo, ni hindi siya ang star witness. At yung iba sa 13 pang witness na yon ay nag-reach out na sa opisina ko para sabihing handa nilang patunayan. Sabihin muli na sila'y nagtestigo ng malaya at hindi sila binayaran.
Hontiveros plans to file a case with the NBI on Wednesday against those who distributed the video, including Murillo. Her camp is also considering filing criminal charges.
To those behind this, you don't scare us, but you should be scared of the truth.
Yan, so this case takes another twist and,
Yes.
and turn. Pero ang gist na sinasabi ni Senator Hontiveros, isa lang to. That's recanting, and you still have the majority of the witnesses reaffirming their support to the case.
Yes.
Oo.
So, yun nga, no, as the report told us kanina, she would file a complaint sa NBI before the NBI para nga malaman who's behind this video. And
kasi
yun nga sabi niya, di ba, before nung this report na lumabas last week, if I'm not mistaken, hindi pa masyado nagsasalita si Senator Lisa Ontiveros.
Yes,
Pero sabi niya, they are still gathering yung parang mga resibo nga, which is what it was shown yesterday during her press conference sa Senate.
In order naman daw yung receipts ng mga hearing and mga expenses nila. So makikita mo yung money trail nila. Parang, and there was also reports that came out na, well, prior to this, parang that guy who recanted was in yung Miracle Mountain daw?
Yeah, sa Glory Mountain.
Glory Mountain.
So, for context, ang last year kasi nagkaroon, 'di ba, ng napakahabang Senate hearing regarding this.
Pastor Apollo
mga
Quiboloy.
allegations against Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. There were witnesses, and isa na nga dito si Michael Murillo. Also known as Rene, saying na isa sa mga male anong tawag yun? Senior male leader ng KOJC sexually assaulted her, and apparently ang sabi niya, rather, no? And sinasabi niya, alam ito ni Pastor Quiboloy himself at hindi gumawa nga daw. At marami siyang mga isiniwala during that hearing. So, yung recantation ng video na yun yung sinasabi ni Senator Lisa Ontiveros na papaimbestigahan nila.
Parang sinasabi bakit ang recantation pina-viral instead of talagang focusing on the proper channel sa courts. Oo, 'di ba? Kasi ang inuna nila yung public perception eh. Pero dinideny naman ni Attorney Torreon na sila daw 'yon.
Which is the legal counsel.
Pastor Apollo Quiboloy.
Pero yung nga daw yung timing kasi nung nakalagay, pinoint out ni Senator Lisa na yung mga dates, 'di ba?
Yes,
na nagkaroon ng email, ng text message.
Yung trail nila.
Oo, na parang
paper
help
trail.
me, nakidnap ako dito sa Glory Mountain, ganyan-ganyan.
Yeah.
Tapos the next, nung pumunta, they went to PNP to tell nga about this incident.
Supposed incident.
Biglang lumabas itong video na to.
Oo.
So, okay, we will see kung ano yung mangyayari pa after this.
Mahaba kasi nasa kamay naman ng korte lahat na to eh. So we'll see. But itong issue ni Senator Isa is different. But
From bakit nakakulong ngayon si
but
Pastor Quiboloy?
I'm saying nasa kamay ng korte yung kaso ni Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, how they will appreciate a recantation. But there are other witnesses naman.
Right.
So, all right. In other news, veteran lawyer Lorna Capunan has volunteered to aid the House prosecution team in the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. She explained that she and a group of volunteer lawyers are currently assisting the House panel with legal advice, particularly on technical matters raised in VP Duterte's motion to dismiss. The 73-year-old legal luminary brings over 4 decades of courtroom experience to the high-profile case. The House's 11-member prosecution panel is led by Minority Leader Marcelino Libanan and includes fellow legal heavyweights Shel Jokno and Laila de Lima. The Senate, meanwhile, is expected to convene as an impeachment court on July 29.
Wala pang officially dinesignate na private prosecutors. Ang public prosecutors are ang House. So, I'm not really, at the moment, I'm not really a private prosecutor. We are a group of lawyers, volunteer lawyers na nag-a-assist. Kasi, lalong-lalo na itong final ni VP Sara, no, na answer ad cautelam, na motion to dismiss naman, maraming legal technicalities. So, kailangan talaga nila ang mga practicing lawyers to give advice.
Ayun, so
4
this is,
decades, diba?
So we all know her.
Courtroom experience.
We all know Attorney Capunan. She's very noted handling past high-profile cases of celebrities and other personalities before. Very feisty, very tough siya. But officially right now, she's giving them legal advisor, volunteer legal advisor for the issue of the dismissal petition of Vice President
Sara Duterte.
Pero let's see daw sa 20th Congress what will happen if she will be part of a public prosecutor in the team or she will be an advisor. So makikita natin later on.
So, kasi kung magaganda yung mga bibigatin yung mga nasa prosecution panel, mabigatin din naman yung mga nasa defense, yung kay VP Sara Duterte. So labanan talaga to ng mga legal luminaries.
Oo. Pero moving forward, no, ang daming dumagdag na naman yung mga spokesperson dito, di ba? We have the impeachment court spokesperson. We have the prosecution panel spokesperson. Sino ano yung isa?
Sa defense
team
spokesperson, which is Attorney Ferdinand Topacio.
Ang daming ng joke at meme ng labasan online. Ba't kailangan pa ng defense team o spokesperson? Nandun naman daw yung spokesperson ng impeachment court.
Defense naman to eh.
Joke nga.
Okay, gets ko na. Gets ko na.
Ay, nako. Okay.
Alright, we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Families of the missing sabongeros express frustration over the slow progress of the investigation. The Department of Justice, for its part, says it is still verifying the information provided by a witness who recently came forward. Here is the report.
After nearly 4 years without progress, the case of the missing cockfighting enthusiasts, or sabongeros, has resurfaced following the testimony of a witness known as Totoy. Totoy claimed to know what happened to the missing men, including the alleged dumping of their bodies in Taal Lake. He also said he recognized some of the individuals involved, among them well-known personalities. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, however, insisted those claims still need to be verified.
I cannot comment on that yet kasi we have to, sabi ko nga, we have to validate a lot of data. More than that, marami pa. There are others.
The DOJ has sought assistance from Japan to map the lake bed of Taal Lake ahead of possible dive operations.
Sumulat pa lang kami. We just wrote. Wala pang tutulong ng ROV, but I think we'll be able to get equipment from the Bureau of Mines and Geosciences. Dito sa DNR, meron din sila. May sarili tayo. Pero we still need mapping facilities.
Meanwhile, families of the missing sabongeros said they are disappointed with the DOJ's slow pace, even as Totoy's testimony gives them a glimmer of hope.
Sa ngayon po, halos kami po talaga yung magmakaawa na natulungan kami para mapadali yung kaso. Ang gusto po sana namin yung testigo, yun po sana yung makasuhan ba.
They now hope his revelations will finally bring answers and justice for their loved ones.
Ngayon, may testigo na, sana nga po madaliin. Kasi maliit lang po yung chance namin, pero umaasa pa rin po kami.
For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Di ba, the discussion was yung Taal Lake is the perfect place na if you were to commit a crime, to hide the body because of the conditions of the lake. Di ba, number one, yung murkiness of the water, the acidic level of the water, di ba? And given yung lake siya, putik yung ilalim, very thick yung ilalim. So kung lumabog yung whatever is thrown in, tendency is...
At saka ilang years na rin.
Matatabo na ng lupa. Oo, yeah.
2021 natin pinag-uusapan yun. It's almost, it's 4 years already.
Oo, tsaka yung temperature ng water, nag-iiba-iba yan because nandyan yung volcano eh. Malapit eh.
Ang isa pang nagiging problem ngayon doon sa area na yun, mabilis na lang, is yung bentahan daw ng tawilis, no? Because natakot ngayon yung mga tao nung sinabi na possible nandoon tinapon yung mga bangkay ng mga missing sabongero. We're talking about 34 or more na sabongeros na tinapon allegedly doon. Natatakot sila baka daw makontaminate yung tawilis. But yung mga iba naman na experts sinasabi nila, mababaw lang naman na klase na isda ang tawilis.
The tawilis is
and they're vegetarians.
They're what you call algae eaters. They don't eat meat. So even if they see the body there, they won't eat it.
Kailan kasi 'di ba parang knowing na may
Well, the sea mismo where we get our fish, the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean, is filled, I'm sure, with bodies from Titanic and all the other. So
that was a long time ago.
No, but what you're saying, di ba, in general naman, it's generally safe, I'm sure. All right, in other news, Batangas 1st District Representative Leandro Leviste has filed a bill seeking to provide a monthly allowance of at least 1,000 pesos to all Filipino students from kindergarten to college. Called the National Student Allowance Program Act, the proposal aims to institutionalize direct financial support for learners. Leviste emphasized that the program will deliver aid straight to students, ensuring government resources are efficiently used. He believes that the country will reap long-term economic benefits by empowering learners right now.
A 50 peso daily wage hike takes effect in Metro Manila this July, but many workers say it's too late or too little and too late. Here's the report.
Starting July 18, workers in Metro Manila will receive a 50 peso increase in their daily wage. According to the Department of Labor and Employment, the daily minimum wage for the non-agriculture sector will rise from 645 pesos to 695 pesos, while those in the agriculture sector will see their wages increase from 608 pesos to 658 pesos. This adjustment translates to an additional 1,100 to 1,300 pesos per month. The wage hike drew mixed reactions from workers, with some expressing disappointment and others saying it's still better than nothing.
Tagal na may dagdag yan, hindi naman natutupad eh. Hindi na ako naniniwala dyan.
Hindi, dagdag sahod na, na-approve na siya.
Na-approve na, ibinibigay ba?
Okay na po yun. Para malaking bagay na rin po yun. Kasi mahal na rin po yung mga gastusin ngayon eh.
The Trade Union Congress of the Philippines party list was quick to criticize the move, saying the 50 peso increase is just a quarter of the proposed 200 peso wage hike. They also noted it's even lower than the Senate's earlier proposal of a 100 peso increase, which was supported by several agencies under the Marcos administration. Recall that the Senate and the House of Representatives failed to reach a consensus on the final wage hike amount during the 19th Congress. In response, the TUCP has refiled the 200 peso wage hike bill in the new legislative session. Meanwhile, representatives from ACT Teachers and Kabataan party lists have filed a combo bill, proposing a 1,200 peso daily minimum wage, alongside a lower prices bill aimed at removing taxes on basic necessities.
Yung nakabubuhay na sahod na 1,200 pesos a day, ito yung kailangan ng isang pamilya para mabuhay ng disente.
May katambal naman na presyo ibaba bill, no, yung nagtatanggal ng mga buwis sa mga basic necessities, yung mga kinakailangan pa ng mga mahihirap na mga Pilipino para sa araw-araw na paggampan ng kanilang buhay.
For progressive labor groups, the current wage adjustment is an insult to workers' dignity. They vowed to raise the issue during President Marcos's upcoming State of the Nation address.
And to talk more about the 50 pesos wage hike, we have Attorney Sara Mirasol, Regional Director of the Department of Labor and Employment, National Capital Region. She is also the chairperson of the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board in the NCR. Good morning, Attorney. Thank you for joining us.
Gandang umaga po sa inyong lahat at sa ating mga viewers po.
Yeah, so we all know that the Congress had their own version for across the board wage increase and the Senate. But I'd like to know what was the factors considered for this 50 peso hike that was approved.
Okay, ang board po kinonsider po ang GDP o gross domestic product, ang growth po ng economy, as well as nakita po natin na mababa po ang inflation ngayong taon, the past months, ano, and of course yung unemployment rate ay 5.1. Yun po ang mga kinonsider po natin. Of course, we have to balance the right of the workers to protect from protection to a very low pay, and as well as the employers return of investment din po. So yun po, mahirap po sa board. Alam ko po na naiintindihan ko ang mga hinaing ng manggagawa, but we also consider other factors po.
I'd like to, in relation to that lang, no, sabi ng iba kasi ba't hindi na lang daw hinintay yung 20th Congress na ma-refile if ever lahat ng bill. Kasi if ever daw matakal yan at ma-approve next Congress, parang pumatong lang daw sa 50 pesos ang ma-approve.
Mandato po ng ating wage board that we need to review the socio-economic conditions 60 days prior to the anniversary date of the current wage order. So mandato po namin talaga na mag-conduct po ng review, mag-conduct ng public consultations and public hearing within 60 days. Kaya yun naman po ang ginawa po namin.
Okay.
Kasi last year, ang huling increase nyo was July 17, 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Ano? So talagang yun yung time frame po ninyo. But ma'am, attorney, what does your office have to say dito po sa sinasabi ng mga ibang labor groups, ano, progressive labor groups such as sentro ng mga nagkakaisa progresibong manggagawa, and they are describing this increase, no, 50 pesos daily minimum wage increase as an insult at saka ano daw to, damage control?
I respect the opinion of our labor groups, ano po, as well as yung ibang sektor din po at naiintindihan ko po. But sabi ko nga po, ang mandato namin, hindi lang yung mga considerations on the part of labor, kailangan din po tingnan natin yung ekonomiya at ang kakayahan ng ating mga namumuhunan. Kaya po, at ito po ay collective decision po ng wage board at kinonsider po natin yung mga hindi lang po yung domestic situations or mga factors, no, tinitingnan din ho natin kasi tumaas din po ang oil prices, yung conflict, may uncertainty, may risk pa rin po. Kaya po medyo nung kami nag-deliberate, tiningnan po natin lahat ito.
So, ma'am, kung kasama dito lahat, no, kahit small, medium, large enterprises, contractual, regular employees, lahat kasama dito under this 50 pesos basta nasa NCR?
Opo.
Meron po bang exemption? Like, kunyari,
meron
mga less than 10 employees sila na mga establishment?
Under the rules po, dalawang situation lang po ang pwedeng exempt from the implementation of the new wage order. At ito po yung sa retail and service establishments employing less than 10 workers at yung during calamity po. At least 6 months during the calamity upon the effectivity of the new wage rate. Ito po yung mga exempting circumstances, pero hindi po automatic ang exemption. Kailangan po mag-apply po ng exemption sa RTWPB and CR at ito po within 75 days from the date of publication of the new wage order.
But what do you have to say din po dun sa nagsasabi, like especially mga other businesses, mga micro businesses din po na itong 50 pesos na to, this will give them a hard time and baka maipatong din ito sa services and goods nila na kumbaga mapapatong din ito sa mga labor workforce natin.
Actually, meron po tayong BMBE law. Yung mga micro-establishments with a capitalization of less than 3 million may apply for the exemption din po from authority to not to impose the new minimum wage. So ito po yung mga instances, yung application for exemption as well as yung sa BMBE na pwedeng mag-apply po sa DTI.
Alright, so attorney, perhaps you can give us a picture on how paano po kayo nagko-compute dyan sa opisina ninyo? Kasi ang sinasabi po ng Ibon Foundation, 1,200 per day to live decently. Sa ngayon po, dyan po sa ipatutupad by July, magiging 695 minimum wage po ang maibibigay natin sa ating mga manggagawa. So, ang gap po nila, 505 pesos. No? So, can you give us a picture po na paano po ba kino-compute yan ng inyong opisina?
Opo, kino-consider na may mga formulas po kami, pero mga inputs po ito sa pagko-consider, hindi po exact yung 50 pesos na sa formula na po namin kino-consider, no? Meron po kaming formula, ini-input po natin yung inflation rate, yung growth din ng economy through the GDP at yung labor productivity. So ito po yung mga kino-consider po natin in coming up with setting a minimum wage increase.
Ayun pala. Alright, sige, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras and we will continue to get in touch with you regarding this issue. For the meantime, thank you so much, Attorney Sara Mirasol, Regional Director of the Department of Labor and Employment, National Capital Region.
Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay po kayo.
Alright, in other news, Senator Erwin Tulfo confirms that he and his brother, Senator Raffy Tulfo, are now backing Senator Chis Escudero's bid for Senate President. He said Raffy convinced him that they should align with the majority for better cooperation with the administration. Erwin added that it should come as no surprise as he ran under President Marcos's alyansa para sa bagong Pilipinas. He also cited Senator Joe Villanueva's remark that Escudero already has the numbers. Other names floating in the race for Senate President include Tito Soto and Senator Amy Marcos.
Sabi ni Senator Rafi, majority tayo. Sabi ko, okay. Kasi usually majority, may mga inuutos ang sa taas na tulungan ng administrasyon para wala ng kontra. So majority tayo, di ba? I mean, I'm with Allianza. We're in the majority. And sabi nga kanina yata ni Senator Villanueva, if I'm not mistaken, may number na pati si Senator Alan Peter a few days ago, may number na sa 13 na. I guess kasama na ako doon sa 13 na sinasabi niya or more than 13.
Kasama kayo ni Sen. Rafi. Yun. So take note dun sa mga nai-interview ng mga senators like aside from Senator Rafi, Senator Erwin Tulfo, si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, pag sinasabi, if the elections were held today sa 19th Congress, meron pa rin backing mga 13 na senador.
Kasi
sa 19th Congress. Tingnan natin.
Expected kasi si Senator Tito Soto and Senator Amy Marcos to vie for that. But with the numbers that we have and based sa sinasabi ni Senator Erwin Tulfo, mukhang Senator Chi still as of this moment has the numbers even if it were to translate.
Well, kasi 'di ba sabi nga nila in the legislative branch, ang Senate presidency dapat naka-align siya sa presidente. 'Di ba? So pero ang nagiging sa mga eventually dun sa mga nagiging interview kay Senator Tito Soto, willing din daw siyang maging minority leader kasi dati nahawakan na daw niya yung posisyon na yan. So ang ibig sabihin ba nun, medyo may pagkontra na rin siya sa administrasyon?
No naman.
Hindi naman daw, yun ang sinasabi niya. Kasi usually minority, medyo hindi siya yung aligned.
Hindi, kasi if you look at the structure of the Senate, when you mean minority, hindi naman actually direct kontra sa policy ng gobyerno. It's just that lumaban ka sa lumaban ka sa Senate presidentship, sa Senate presidency, natalo ka, usually automatically the loser, kung kunyari dalawa lang kayo, goes down to the Senate minority leader. Yun ang nangyayari. Tapos, di ba, may majority leader pa. So, ganun lang yun. It doesn't mean na... kasi
pero
that's why
yun nga daw, he was asked about it
Oo nga.
Are you willing to... Kaya nga, di ba sila Senator Risa Ontiveros, tinatanong yan, are you willing to join the minority bloc? Kasi definitely, hindi siya magma-majority. Dahil alam naman natin yung mandato nila, Senator Risa Ontiveros and other allies niya.
Yung minority bloc, parang ang pinaka-gist ni Senator Risa, parang it depends ano ang composition ng minority bloc. Kasi kung ang composition ng minority bloc are still administration friendly, they'd be, that's why ngayon nagkaroon ng sinatawag na independent opposition na hindi minority, hindi majority. And usually ito yung mga nag-abstain pag nag-votes.
So going back to Senator Tito Soto nung sinabi niya Tito Soto, nung sinabi niya nga, nung tinanong siya kung sabi niya willing siya maging sa minority kung hindi siya mahahalal bilang Senate President sa 20th Congress. Sabi niya, hindi naman daw siya mag-o-oppose but he's willing to cooperate with the administration while being critical if necessary.
May history naman si Tito Soto of pag maganda yung bill sumasang-ayon regardless of politics.
All right.
Don't go away. We're not done yet. Stay with us. welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. A recent Octa Research survey shows majority of Filipinos support the Philippines rejoining the International Criminal Court or ICC. The study showed 57% of respondents favor the move, while 37% oppose it, and 6% are undecided. Support was strong in Metro Manila, Balance, Luzon, and the Visayas, but remained low in Mindanao, where 66% opposed rejoining. The survey was conducted from April 20 to 24 with 1,200 respondents with a ±3 margin of error.
Now, to talk about that survey, we have Octa Research Fellow Dr. Guido David joining us today via Zoom. Good morning, Prof. Thanks for joining us again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Natapos na kasing elections, but good morning, my favorite angels, Diego and Nadja.
Right. So what does the 57% support for rejoining the ICC tell us about public sentiment? While looking at the survey before, 58% naman disagree with the arrest of former President Digo Duterte.
Well, it could be seen as separate issues. Rejoining the ICC, as the survey showed, and to be fair naman, this is a bit older survey result, April, but conducted along with the pre-election surveys. But I think it's about the transparency. That's why Filipinos support rejoining ICC. Kasi historically naman, the Philippines had been a member of the ICC. And then, umalis na lang tayo, years ago. And rejoining the ICC may be seen as something that will be beneficial in the long term. So, it may not necessarily be connected with the arrest, although of course isipin natin may correlation yun. But it's framed as yun lang, by itself. Is it something that we should be doing? Of course, if the government decides to rejoin the ICC, they should look at many variables. Legal matters. What would be the benefits for the Philippines long term? As far as transparency and diplomacy, and your public sentiment will just be part of the decision making of the national government. Right. But at least the data is there, showing that the majority of Filipinos are in favor of rejoining the ICC.
Yeah, Prof, if you take a look, kasi this is yung pag-atras natin sa ICC is one of the moves that former President Duterte had. And does this indicate that, a lot of people, while not outrightly denouncing former President Duterte as their leader of choice, but rather opposing one of the few moves like EJK and this one, yung mga moves na ginawa niya, is this like a condemnation? Parang gusto nila i-reverse yung mga pinagagawa ni former President Duterte. And in related to that, kasi we see a decrease in support in NCR kay President Duterte. So, can we safely say that yung mga classes that oppose, that want to go back to the ICC are from the middle class?
Well, looking at the demographic distribution, actually, maybe not so surprising, sa Mindanao, the support for rejoining the ICC is much lower. It's only 30%. Pero sa NCR, Balance, Luzon, and even sa Visayas, it's over 60%. So sa NCR, 64%. Balance, Luzon, 67%. So, and even even the middle class, yung socio-economic class D, it's at 58%. So, yes, we could argue that, not just the middle class, but, a majority of the Filipinos, especially outside Mindanao, about reversing some of the policies. I mean, the former president, let's admit it na naman siya, he was popular because there were some policies that benefited the Filipinos, but not all policies are naman. I mean, hindi naman yan all or nothing. There were some good policies, and there were some policies that there may have been objections to. And yung separating from ICC may have been a policy that was maybe not favored by majority of Filipinos. So we could view it that way. And I think the war on drugs as a whole, siguro, was supported by Filipinos. We can see that kasi majority of OFWs actually supported yung endorsements during the last election. But I think it could be said that there could be a way for us to conduct war against drugs in a manner
in a different manner.
Right. Na hindi naman na may madadamay na mga innocent civilians.
Right. I was wondering nga, Prof, how was the question framed during the survey? And meron bang probe din dun sa reason kung bakit may such opposition or support dito sa tanong na to?
Well, unfortunately, Angela, the questions asked is, so usually wala na kaming follow-up about why or because that would require a more in-depth discussion. The question is medyo simple. Are you in favor of the Philippines rejoining the International Criminal Court as a member? And so, medyo simple lang. Sometimes may iba sinasabi na dapat may background leading up to the question kasi of course, we saw that in the same survey, 85% said they have heard, read, or watched something about the ICC, recently. So, mataas yung awareness about the ICC. But, yun nga, about rejoining the ICC, it's an as-is question, so 57%. Okay. But I think they understand it kasi, yun nga, sa Mindanao, it's much lower, 30% lang ang in favor rejoining the ICC.
Pero Prof, 30% is quite high given baluarte supposedly ni former President Duterte ang Mindanao. I'd like to ask, sa 30% na yan sa Mindanao who agree with rejoining the ICC, how many in Mindanao are still undecided and how many actually oppose it?
Well, only 4% were undecided and 66% opposed it.
Okay.
So mataas nga yung opposition. Right.
Yun nga, I wanna go back dun sa sinabi mo yung they understood naman. No? So I really wanna ask nga po kung they knew the context of the question before answering it para mabigay lang natin yung di ba yung objective nung question na to sa atin. Did they understand what they were answering to?
Well, since they are aware of the ICC, I think they're aware of the context naman. But we don't want to correlate masyado. Like, for example, with the arrest of the former president. Kasi that may now be a leading...
A different naman yung issue.
Baka mag-lead siya, may influence yung answer nila. That's why we wanted as much as possible to... But I think they're aware of the context. I mean, even not just sa Mindanao, but now looking at the regional, provincial or regional breakdowns, Region 11, the Davao region, only 16% are in favor of rejoining the ICC. So I think they understand the context.
Pero Prof, as a whole, what's the lowest socioeconomic class na what's the lowest socioeconomic class na umaayaw na bumalik sa ICC? Do we see the upper class, lower class in favor of going back to the ICC? Ano yung breakdown yan?
Yes, it's actually yung E. Sa E, 54% are in favor and 42% are not in favor sa socio-economic class E. Pero sa ABC, 63% are in favor. So sa pinakamataas sa socio-economic class ABC, in favor of rejoining the ICC.
Pero parang across the board, parang most are in favor, no, Prof? Parang demographic issue lang, kaya lang bumaba ng konti yung favorability dahil the rest are in Mindanao.
Tama, yeah. So across different, age groups, although I noticed nga sa younger age group, I think sa millennials, not just sa mga Gen Zs, but sa millennials, like 25 to 34 age group.
35, 34, oo.
Yes, mas mataas sila.
62%.
Right, 62% compared to the others. But generally, majority are in favor. Whether it's 50 plus or 60 plus, the majority are in favor of rejoining the ICC. Pero tama si Diego na it's only in Mindanao that we're seeing a less than majority in favor of rejoining the ICC.
It's interesting po that you mentioned that yung mga ages kasi yun nga, I was looking at it, 25 to 34 age bracket, 62% yung in support of rejoining the ICC. Pero lowest among respondents, ages 45 to 54 at 50%. So parang in essence, sumasalamin din siya dun sa nangyaring eleksyon. 'Di ba? Na mas mataas.
Exactly.
Parang ganun ba? Can you that? Oo. Pwede ba nating sabihin that way?
Yes, exactly, Angela. So meron parang consistency with the recent election results. Na may sort of youth vote that is parang trending in a different direction compared to the more of the middle-aged groups.
No.
Oh, yeah. Siguro, lastly na lang, ano po ba sa tingin nyo, aside dun sa mga napag-usapan natin, going back to Jego's question earlier, ano pa po yung mga factors na nakita po natin na parang, sige, pumayag yung mga majority of the Filipinos sa bumalik tayo sa ICC?
I think yun nga, this is more of speculation, parang inference. Parang, I think it's more for transparency and for international relations to foster a better diplomatic relations with other countries, and I think to show the Philippines that wala naman tayong tinatago or wala tayong we're not being afraid of. It's not about us wanting to be governed, but rather more for the transparency of our processes para pakita natin the confidence that we have with our system na kahit na member tayo ng ICC, we're confident that we could tackle issues dito locally na hindi tayo natatakot kung ano yung magiging interpretation sa international court.
Pero before we let you go, Prof, hindi kaya pwedeng the other way around yon na lack of trust sa judicial system natin, that we want a third party out there hovering over our heads to make sure na yung ginagawa natin dito ay tama?
Well,
speculative,
that's also,
speculative din.
Right, speculative. That's also an interesting
point.
Look at, and I can't say if I'm right or you're right. I mean, maybe we're both right to some extent, or maybe but yes, that's also a fair point. Na we want oversight on our systems or our judicial systems. In a way, it's sort of a check and balance. Na parang we want to make sure that the process here, in whatever judicial process we have, we follow it, and then we oversight. Yung point ka naman. Hindi naman siya necessarily against your point. It's more like parang since kung magiging confident in tayo sa system, kahit na may oversight ng other countries, parang we're sure na the process will be followed. But yes, that's a very fair point. So I might use that in a future.
The future survey. But we will continue to get in touch with you regarding surveys, especially malapit na rin ang State of the Nation address ng Pangulo. Ano yung mga gustong marinig ng mga Pilipino sa kanyang
mas lalo na yung mga
nagawa niya, no?
Mas lalo yung mga millennials tulad ko.
Ikaw, millennials ba?
Ba't ka natawa, Prof?
Sabi ni Prof, magkaedad lang daw.
Magkaedad lang kami ni Prof. So, millennials kami.
Yes, millennials kami.
Wow. Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyo. That was Octa Research Fellow Dr. Guido David. Thank you so much po.
Thank you. Good morning.
Now, in other news, former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque joins Long Take for an exclusive interview. Roque blames the Marcos administration for his separation from his family. He is currently seeking asylum in the Netherlands as he faces qualified human trafficking charges related to alleged involvement in illegal Philippine offshore gaming operations, or POGO. Roque says he has no regrets defending former President Rodrigo Duterte during the war on drugs. He also insists that he will only return to the Philippines if Duterte returns with him.
The fact that we celebrated Christmas and New Year for the first time without our children. It was the saddest Christmas and New Year that we had. And one of the reasons why perhaps I will never forgive this Marcos administration.
The Signal HD Spikers have partnered with Firefly, a trusted name in lighting and energy solutions, to support their growing presence in the Premier Volleyball League. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos reports.
To add more fire and fly closer to the elusive championship dream, the Signal HD Spikers have officially inked a partnership with another juggernaut as it seeks to shine brighter in the ongoing Premier Volleyball League games. Firefly, the leading energy-efficient lighting, electrical, and power solutions company in the Philippines, has expressed their dream to illuminate not just Filipino homes, but also shed light on the passion, innovation, and drive to win of Signal TV's promising athletes. Eric Ariola, Firefly's marketing director, have expressed his gratitude for the partnership, citing shared alignment of both organizations' values played an integral role in closing this collaboration.
We're not only known in the market as a lighting brand, but really by and large what we want is to be able to elevate everyday experiences. And lighting is definitely a large component of that, and we see that sports, and in this case volleyball, is also doing that to the community. It's actually elevating a lot of hopes and dreams for the young ones out there.
Meanwhile, Eric Centeno, VP Channel Sales of Signal TV Incorporated, showed optimism on the partnership and the continuous growth of volleyball in the Philippines and its bright future.
We are very happy to have you on board as we together try to grow and improve volleyball, and of course our team as well, supporting the Signal HD Spikers. Coming in, I said we felt it was a very perfect partnership, as obviously Firefly is in the forefront of bringing quality lighting to everyone in the Philippines, as Signal tries to bring in the best content, the best leagues to all Filipinos nationwide.
Unveiled in the event is the latest Signal HD Spikers jersey with the Firefly logo as the team's main partner for the Premier Volleyball League games. Also present are Signal HD women's volleyball team players led by captain for PVL on Tour Jael Cayuna, Erica Santos, Ishi Lalong Isip, Jack Acuña, Erin Pangilinan, and Tin Tiamzon, and coaching staff led by Coach Shaq de los Santos.
Signal HD Spikers for Firefly moments!
Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos. We are One News.
UAAP and Signal TV have extended their partnership for another 5 years. The deal ensures exclusive live coverage from season 89 through season 93. Signal President and CEO Jane Basa said the goal is to deliver international caliber sports coverage, including new events like baseball, street dance, and esports. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So, by the way, ang tawag dito, kalimutan
Your quote?
ko. Hindi, kasi nag-Gen Z moment ako Nag-Gen Z moment
Gen
ako.
Z or Gen X?
Ay, hindi. Gen X moment ako. Hindi, ito basahin ko lang yung quote ko kasi hindi linagay Wait.
Hindi nalagay.
Hindi. Gusto mo ikaw na lang mag-quote? Ayan, okay.
What's your quote?
The quote is, "Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground." A quote from Theodore Roosevelt. Yan. The words, pwede mangarap pero alalahanin mo saan ka nang galing. Oh!
Good job.
Marunong ako mag-Tagalog. Ay, corny mo talaga. That wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
I'm Angelo Castro, the third We Are One News.
All sides, all the time.